What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and for this one I'm going to be doing a review and all the Black Order characters because I had a request from one of you guys in the comments to do so. Now, as of me making this video, it's been a year since we first gotten the Black Order